They gathered round her table one balmy June spring night, plotting bloody treason in the flickering firelight.
It was really a vision 2.5 years ago, and I think it was, yes, Rob Nicholson and yes, Jim Hill that encouraged me to do something to commemorate the most famous woman in the history of Canada.
I think this whole thing came out of Caroline McCormick's brain. I mean, she was the phenomenal driver of all this. She had this vision that her great-great-great-grandmother should be honored properly.
I am thrilled to make an announcement here tonight, and that is that the Laura Secord Legacy Trail is part of the Trans-Canada Trail. It joins up because the Trans-Canada Trail goes down the Niagara River. You know that fabulous trail.
You know, when you think of someone, this woman who was, you know, in a house with an injured husband, a bunch of children, an occupied territory, overhearing information, and the kind of courage that it took to say, I better pass this along. I mean, that really took courage.
It was a great privilege for me today to unveil both the coin and the stamp commemorating Laura Secord, and entirely appropriate, of course, as the great hero for this country.
Thank you, Lorraine, for coming here. I know of your great interest in Canadian history, and we're so proud and pleased to be a part of this.
I love history and I love walking, and I don't know as much as I should about this part of Canada, so I thought it would be a lot of fun to come down. I brought a group of friends. We love to hike, so I thought tomorrow we could learn the history and what's not to like about coming down to this part of Canada.
You'll notice as you walk the trail at intervals, you'll see signs with QR codes on them, and the QR codes connect up to website pages that will give you the story of that particular location. What better way to fulfill my mandate, which is to educate and enlighten people about their environment, their built environment, their natural environment, than by sharing some of these stories.
Laura's the epitome of strength and courage, and you know, it's definitely inspiring, and luckily through the RBC Olympians program we're here today to celebrate her perseverance and everything that she accomplished for Canada.
I think it's very important because how many heroines do we have in Canada, and it's great that this is a lady. We look at the war and we think mostly of men fighting wars, but here's a lady that perhaps wouldn't have been victorious if it wasn't for this lady, so what a role she's played.
Now, I do not believe it is overstating matters to say that without Laura Secord's bold warning, Canada may not have existed as a nation today. I can only conclude by wishing all those who are participating in these commemorations my warmest good wishes for the success of your celebrations and favourable weather conditions for your long trek.
Come all, you brave young soldier lads, with your strong and manly bearing. I'll tell you a tale of a woman bold and her deed of honest daring. Laura Secord was American, born in the state of Massachusetts. Made her home in Canada.
It's around 5:30 in the morning for those that are watching this video. The place is pretty crowded already, and we'll probably finish around 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon.
Heart who braved the heat and the flies in the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon. There's soldiers pounding at the door, and they come from across the border. American officers march inside, it's food and drink they've ordered. In comfort they have dined and drunk, their own success they've toasted. But they pay no heed to the woman who hears their plan so idly boasted. There's American guns and...
It's not a piece of cake.
You got that sense of history all day long, that this remarkable woman did that incredible feat, and so it's an inspiration to all of us, quite frankly.
This really brings life to what happened to her 200 years ago today, which is fascinating as well.
They're making Fitzgibbon, they intend to smash his men for prisoners taking. And James a warning, never you'll take with your wounded knee and shoulder. I myself must carry it past the sentries and the soldiers. There's American guns and 500 men, so the warning must be given. And Laura Ingersoll Secord was a stalwart heart who braved the heat and the flies and the swamp to warn Colonel Fitzgibbon.
After starting at the actual homestead, going through, which was just an amazing detail on its own, and then these beautiful trails right through.
1, 2, 3.
Here we go. All right.
I'm really moved by it, quite frankly. I'm really touched by it. I think it's long overdue in terms of the recognition in the history of the involvement of Six Nations and other Native allies. For her to really go the extra mile to make sure that the full history is understood, I really appreciate that.
Great commemoration 200 years later. Anyway, I feel really happy. I'm so glad I did it.
There's a lot of women who are not known to history at all and did amazing, brave, wonderful things and were not celebrated. So that we have one to celebrate, I think is all the best.
To be a descendant is the icing on the cake. To be so proud of my sister and all of the volunteers here who have really brought this together. I'm incredibly appreciative of that, and I just am very thankful that I could experience it.
The plan from day one is to make this is the historical first, and there will be, we hope to be many successful walks in the future, and perhaps at a time when we can use the walk as a way to support veterans or young women. She can tell many stories, and there's many groups that we can help fundraise through an annual walk.